Goodness of prayer, following the pledge. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this great day and the blessings in our life. Thank you for all that you do for us, Jesus. I pray, Lord, that you'll give us knowledge and understanding, Lord, to make the best decisions during the Father to see. Dear Father, bless our families and our children, Lord. Bless our country and the first responders, Jesus. Thank you for all that you do in our life, Lord. Most of all, for the plan of salvation. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. Roll call, Tab.
David Atkins, Charles Bayer,
Here.
Dwayne Bayer,
Here.
Johnny Bruce,
Here.
Michael Douglas, Dwayne Gibson, Beverly Hall, here, Tyler Key,
Here.
Dwayne Gibbs,
Here.
Chris Paul, Zach Marlowe,
Here.
Erica Simpson, here, Rusty Orr,
Here.
Eric Sharp,
Here.
Scott Stanfield,
Here.
well, present,
Okay, like I said, we do have a quorum. Folks, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. Appreciate you. Hey, we'll give you an opportunity to speak if you'd like to speak. Moving on, we have the approval of the previous monthly minutes from September 15, 2025. No public applications. Committee reports and minutes from September the 4th, 2025 Planning Commission, September the 18th, 2025 FMS, September the 29th, 2025 Building and Grounds, October the 6th, 2028, I'm 2028, it's 2025. Legislative affairs. Okay. We've gone over the budget amendments, 10-1 through 10-10. And I think that's going to be a point of emphasis next Monday when we come back in to vote. Okay, cover a credit card, is it? Do you have that? Okay, thank you. Reports from county officials and all the departments, including the Board of Education. Are you getting those reports? We're good? Yes. Thank you. Organizations receiving contributions from the county. Are we getting any more requests for those? We pretty much up to that.
We are up to date on the ones that are being seen.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any information? None? Okay. Other matters? Number one, approve Campbell County Board of Education contract with Personal Computer Systems Incorporation, contract by Cybersecurity Pilot Program. I have one to carry. Someone to carry that for me, please. Thank you. Thank you. Approval for the FYP 25-26 airport maintenance grant. Scott. Okay. Approved purchase and subscription services agreement with Raptor Technologies and Campbell County Board of Education. You guys want to carry that for me, please?
I will, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dwayne. Number 4, authorize ambulance service director to apply for the EMS equipment grant. There is no local match required and should result in the ambulance service receiving funds of approximately $25,000. Rusty make the motion. Okay, number 5. Approval of the 2026 legislative agenda as approved by the Legislative Affairs Committee. Zach, you got that? Okay. Number 6, approved contract between Provision Cloud Connect, FYP 25 and 2026, and Campbell County Board of Education. You're going to carry that. Go carry that. And number 7, approve change order number 1 on the airport mega project to increase the project completion period by 40 calendar days from the original 275 days completion period to a revised 315 days completion period. The 40 days increase in the completion period results in the revised completion date of August 11, 2025, instead of the original completion date of July 2nd, 2025. The 40-day increase is in the completion period to establish the revised completion date of August 11, 2025. Is the only item being changed with a contract amount of $4,200,919.85 remaining the same. Okay, just a second. Scott, you want to carry that? Therefore, okay. Go ahead, Zach.
Question one, is this change order ever approved by the airport committee? Why not?
No.
Why not?
It was never brought in front of the
Okay, I'd certainly like an explanation why it wasn't.
We'd have to get, from Mr. Bartlett, I'd say.
And then number two, is this just because of weather or is this some other type of, because it was my understanding when we did this that we said on the front end that we weren't going to approve change orders, and here we are with the change orders. But I can understand it if it's just simply weather days. I can understand that.
Part of it was weather dated, what, Mayor? And part of it was the fact that, hey, the project had shut down completely. So, you know, and, like I said, Mr. Marlowe's, they've got, they're working the figures and stuff on us right now. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, I'd like an answer by Monday night as to what, how many of the 40 days is actually weather-related days and what the other days in there are. Because I'm not, well, I don't know what I'm for and what I'm not. I just know what we said on the front end that we weren't going to approve.
Oh, I know, I understand. And, we'll give you that information. So, okay, no problem.
It's not increasing pay.
No, the amount stays the same. There's just days. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay, moving on down. Number 8.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Back up. The B was envisioned to take before the airport committee for this Monday night.
Scott, you wish to, on there for me? 5? That was exactly, that we'll have the information that you need.
That way, exactly, can't wait if he chooses to ask the questions he has, get the answers right then before he comes to me. Ready to go.
Okay, you live with that? Scott, you good with that, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Anything else, Russ?
No.
Okay. Number 8. Approve the trade of a 2020 Dodge Durango VIN 1C4RDJ2LC286555 to the Property Assessor's Office from the Sheriff's Department, and the transfer of a 2017 Jeep Renegade VIN number ZACCJAABHPE 46150 to the Sheriff's Department from the Property Assessor's Office. Entertain someone to carry that for me, please. Who said to carry? Okay, Dwayne. Dwayne Kidd? Dwayne Kidd.
No.
Dwayne, I got you. I'm with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Dwayne, you carry. No. Sheriff, Brandon, is that what you guys wanted to do? Good, thank you. Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to remind y'all that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. We've already had a few activities with that, so help us put that word out. It's also Down Syndrome Awareness Month, because we've seen us do something for that. Do a good job, Carol, on October 28th. Randy has, we got 28 people so far. will be setting up for it. This is in conjunction with Rome State, Tennessee College of Applied Technology, the high school, the CTE department, and Campbell County Chamber. So we appreciate all the partners going in on that one. Our next Veterans Breakfast, folks, is 1st November 1. It will be at First Baptist Church honoring all who serve, veterans or families. All invited. This one is sponsored by the following utilities. Good information. We talked about the Ag Committee last time. As we looked it up, we found that Mike, you were not up this year. It'll be next year, and the rest will be next year and you.
Really?
Yeah, but we do have Wesley Wells coming off and Barbara Parks, and we'd like to add Tyler Green and Jamie Ball to those two positions. Has to be a male farmer and a female farm lady.
So they'll have to meet the elected chairman or, chairman and vice chair, secretary, and all.
So we need to add.
We needed some.
I'll carry those, because on our portion of the agenda last month, when I made the committee appointments, I'll get it for all non-statutory, and I inadvertently left all statutory, so we need to vote on statutory committees anyways.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to also recognize a young lady from Campbell County named Jo Bruce. Jo is well known, I think, most of us. She has been named the recipient of the Light My Way Award. It's a pretty high honor. It's a regional award, about 6 or 7 counties, and they are going to award her up at a banquet or something. But they called and asked if we would also recognize her as a great volunteer. So I would like to do that at the next meeting in Boston. I'd like to study that. Thank you. And at the longest serving volunteer at the White Oak Fire Department, Mr. Colin Bates. You know him, don't you?
Yeah, my best buddy.
Carry a lot of weight together. So Conda, we'd like to recognize him next Monday night.
Can I carry that, Mr. Chairman? I know it's in the 5th district, but I'd like to carry that.
Okay, 5th district. Okay. That'd be fine.
You can find a better person.
Yeah, we appreciate it. He is a great person.
Carry or direct?
Both. You both. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Oh, no, you already did that, didn't you?
You will carry that?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. No.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Is this correct? Because it's not. I'm gonna do it.
Reverse.
Yes. Thank you. I don't know what that is. Right. Okay, David is not here. Go, you have anything? Dwayne?
Yeah, I need to call a recreation committee meeting, for next week. I might have a chance to look at the calendar, I'll look at it tomorrow, and then after I'll get with you to schedule it.
Guys, the only thing I have is don't forget discretionary monies. We need to have that done by next week, so please turn your list in to Tabitha so she can take care of that. Okay. Mike, you have anything? Okay. Ms. Beth?
Just declaring Joe Bruce recognition.
Thank you. Tyler? Dwayne Kids?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the only items I have are the two from the Board of Education and recognizing Conda Mays, and I appreciate the mayor doing that. And I think that's all I got this month. Thank you.
Tom Baden and I go way back. He's a good man.
He
Good
is.
person.
He is.
Chris Paul's not here. Sacramento.
I've got the 2026 legislative agenda, which was adopted and approved by the Legislative Affairs Committee. And then I've also got the statutory committee appointments as well.
Erica? Rustin?
Mr. Chairman, I think I've got a few things from Karen, Bruce's grants. One of the things, we need to get the mayor to get in touch with Ron about the study that we voted on the roads, the planning commission. And if you can give him a call tomorrow so we can get that ball rolling.
Got it.
He talked about using Campbell Associates last week. Do you handle that?
Yeah.
Get that, and if, I think I was told finance that he had money in his budget, and it may not be the situation, it may not be the situation, but, we have to get this rolling as quick as possible.
If we don't, we need to find a source, go ahead.
Yes. If that's the case, we'll be.
Just a second. I'm listening to
Okay, that's
something.
what-
Oh, you what? Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Rusty, how long does it usually take for one of those studies to come back, you know?
Pardon?
How long does it usually take one of those studies to come back?
I don't know. I would think that as small as the road as it is, mile and quarter, it shouldn't take long. Probably put out the counters and all that and do the studies on the road, the width, and the measurements. More like a survey.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
I have a question for Brandon, if I can ask.
Brandon? You good
Did
with
you
that?
ever get in touch with Highland and Comcast?
Highland never made contact, Comcast did, also Telepage.
Highland didn't call?
Never heard a word back.
Highland has said that they would hook on to the courthouse.
But we ended up,
Mark Patterson, their manager.
yeah, we ended up having with Telepage. They actually came out with twice the speed of Telepage or of Comcast and even lower the price. So we finalized that today, actually.
Will we seeing something, we did do something this month about that or not?
Well, we will be probably not looking at the service entering in until next month. So then
So it'll be a contract. That's all it is.
I appreciate that.
Jerry? Scott?
I got carried to 2 airports, and we'll get an airport committee meeting Monday at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else, commissioners? Joe, would you mind handing that over, please? Thank you, sir. Okay, Missy?
Just want to give a quick update for the chamber and to tell you some things that's been there and some things we've got planned. Of course, back in August, we had our healthcare job fair at TCAT, and that was very successful. I attended the Governor's Conference on Tourism in September, that was in Kingsport. The Louie Bluey Arts and Music Festival was in September, and we were there for that, had a tent, and we helped sponsor that as well, very successful. Set up at this fall festival time, so we set up at the Jacksburg and the Jellicoe Fall Festivals. And coming up, we have our Chamber Coffee Connection, it's this Thursday. Our host will be United Campbell Bank at 8:30. Our Chamber Pig Roast and Auction, our biggest fundraiser of the year, is coming up next Tuesday on the 21st at Nobbyville Farm. Of course, Mayor Lynch has already spoke about our multi-employer job fair. That will be on October 28th on a Tuesday. And our host is Woodson Vaughn. We really appreciate Rob Woodson and Becky Aiken for letting us, for being our host again. The Governor's Conference on Economic Development is in Murfreesboro, November 3rd through the 5th. And the 5th, we will be doing the community photos with the governor for our Three-Star program. So that will be very important. So that will be from 1 to 2 on the 5th for Three-Star. Our Shop Local Challenge will be November 28th through December 1st, and that's one of our biggest that we do every year to really promote supporting local and shopping local for the holidays and gearing up for the holidays. And we're already scheduling into 2026. We'll be at the Cincinnati Boat Show, January 23rd through the 25th. We will be there and representing Campbell County. Been busy and still plan on being busy.
Any questions? Missy, thank you.
Thank you all.
Tricia?
Hi, everybody. Maybe go a real quick animal shelter report. For the month of September, we began with 215 animals in our care. That was 123 cats and 92 puppies and dogs. We intaked 193 in September, 93 cats and 100 puppies and dogs. Of those 100 dogs and puppies, 57 were strays and 43 were owner surrenders. 93 cats and kittens, 77 of those were strays and 16 were owner surrenders. So for those 59 owner surrenders, appointments were made. So just want to let you all know, we still are not just taking walk-in owner surrenders. That is a courtesy service that we offer, and we do it by appointment only as we can. So we did do, what did I say? 59. We had a total of 408 animals in our care. 192 of those were cats, 216 were dogs and puppies. We had 15 reclaimed by their families, 47 adoptions, 6 died in our care, and 119 went to rescue. We had 19 euthanasias. Of those euthanasias, 5 were shelter animals and 14 were owner request end-of-life services. So that leaves us with 202 animals in our care on October 1st, 115 cats and kittens and 87 dogs and puppies. We did 140 spay and neuter services at our clinic, and we did 197 pets were vaccinated in our free and low-cost vaccine clinic. We distributed 6,260 pounds of donated food to 89 families in our community. So our euthanasia rate is still just under 7%. So our live release rate is 92.9%. That does still give us the no-kill designation, which can change at any time. So overall, we provided services to 745 animals in the county. And we are on course to spay and neuter 2,000 pets in this calendar year. I had the last of a few meetings with the Bissell Foundation today, and we have been approved as a Tennessee host for their spay neuter services. So hopefully in January, we will start working with the Bissell Foundation, and they will have veterinarians coming to our shelter to do low-cost spay neuter for our community. That will significantly lower the cost to people who are getting that service. It should cut it in half at least. Also, I wanted to let you all know that we are going to have our inspection coming up really soon. We still have been unable to get a fencing company to come up and look at our dog kennels. We have several that are failing because of rust. We had 2 dogs get out, and they were out for 3 days. You have a bite dog on quarantine, and they get out through your kennels. Bad news. So, if anybody has any connections with any fencing companies that would be willing to come down and look at that and give an estimate, Tony's been unable to find anybody to return his call. Also, we're still working with the epoxy, and I don't think we've heard back from the guy in Houston. So, does anybody have any questions?
Any
Hi,
questions?
Mr. Chairman. You are still taking pets in the civil file by appointment only?
We're still taking level 1 priority, which is an emergency. We take those at any time. It's gonna be like a bike or an animal that's been hit by a car or something like that. We do still take owner surrenders. When we make an owner surrender appointment, we only ask, do you live in Campbell County?
Right.
We don't ask, do you live in the city of La Follette, because those are just scheduled as we can do them. And the reason we ask, are you from Campbell County? Because we sometimes have people from Claiborne or from Scott County attempting to bring animals here, and we don't have enough space for our own, so unfortunately, we have to turn them away.
Okay, thank you, Patricia, I appreciate it.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how much is the city's bill?
It's over $85,000.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Zach.
Yep.
Bill Manfield? Hello. Yes, sir.
I was here a couple weeks ago and talked to the planning board. And it was directed by David Atkins that they're going to set up a meeting, because I'm working on applying to put a landfill in the county. And checked back with David, and he told us that they had a meeting after the meeting and they don't want a landfill there. So I've come back to you to formally request to have a public hearing on it through Jackson law and do it step by step. And that's that part of it. The other part of it, I got a minute, I'll tell you. The whole program that we're trying to do is Scott County, Anderson County, they're both controlled by publicly traded companies. There's no money that goes back into the community. The program we're trying to bring forward is to have a hosting fee for the community, for the county put back in. And in the life of a landfill, doing this is tens of millions of dollars. And I know that just sounds like an overwhelming amount of money. But if you look at what your budget is and you're sending it to Scott County now, you don't realize that it's gone. I mean, and it's going into publicly traded companies where the profits are going to shareholders. We want to build a local operation, not a giant one. It's on a 2,000 acre site with about 300 acres being impacted, and it's down in a bowl from a previously mined operation. And we just like to, take it out to the public so the public can understand what we're trying to do there. And one of the other things I want to do, and I've met Trish and the situation I've been in the shelter. I get emotional about it. We have the ability to set up a foundation in this county. Instead of taking taxes and letting go to the federal level and spending where we want, these taxes could be put in a foundation in this county and spent for shelters, senior living, affordable housing, things like that. And again, I get emotional, I'm passionate about it. I was here and this all asked me about affordable housing. And I produced over 1,700 affordable homes in Florida. I went to high school in Knoxville, Tennessee. When I graduated from high school, there was no jobs. I had to go somewhere else to work. One of the things that happens in communities like this, I have a son who's on his 10th child and wants to move in this area. And we have to be able to have something sustainable for him to do. And that's the other part of this. It's a very passionate thing. It's not just, oh, we want to go out here and do this. But I've seen the services that you guys have and the expenses that you have. And just to give you an example, a hosting fee could be a minimum of $2.55 a ton, could be as much as $7 or $8 a ton, depending on the operating costs. And that money can come back in. So when you're talking about budgets and things like that, like the gentleman that came to you when I was here before about an internet service, there'll be surplus money to go into these things. And I'm not trying to control that, but the foundation money will set up for people like Trish and seniors services and things like that to go to get money. Because we'd rather give that money to the public to use with direction than to a stockholder, and I use this term, stockholder sitting in, up in Upper Manhattan, sipping a $300 glass of wine. It's just not right, and that's what happens in Anderson County, it's happens in Scott County, and there's several other counties. I'm working right now in beginning stages with a state senator because there's a problem in the state of Tennessee with life expectancies of landfills, and she's working on a law passed, or a bill that is gonna create 7,000 plus jobs, and they wanna hand sort the trash to create these jobs, which, as you know, because this county has a MRF program, which I don't know if anybody even knows what that is. It's not even functional here. But all this is just let us have a chance to explain to the public, educate the public, and educate you all what the benefits are. And this property was mined from the 20s to the 80s, and there's just a bowl there. And there's a railroad spur there, there's old equipment there and stuff. We just want to clean that up. And it's 3/4 mile down to this property once you go off 90. And it's about 400 feet below the road surface at that point. When you go to any place, you can actually see the bowl. When Brian took me out there, he goes, yeah, you see that row of trees over there? And I'm looking, and he goes, yeah, it's right there. So just give you an idea. But thanks.
So you're requesting that this body give you a public hearing?
Yes, I'd like to have a public hearing to take a vote on a landfill. And we have to do it through the Jackson law. That's because you guys have adopted the Jackson law. So I'm looking to get approval to take a landfill to the state level from the county level. But I'd like to do that, but you have to do the Jackson law. And that's educating the public and letting them know. I want to work with local editor and whatever social media you have so we can explain to them the benefits of it. Because I said, like right now, what are you making? What's the landfill making? Nothing. Your waste services, they need some attention.
Okay. I will get with the mayor, and at that point, we will set a hearing for the public. Joe? Okay.
Can I just add something?
You certainly can.
12 years ago, when the county passed the Jackson law, I think the citizens of that area
Okay, gotcha. We'll get back with you, so we can get the mayor and stuff, and we'll,
All we're asking is to educate the people so taxpayers can understand the benefits of it. And I mean, just your equipment, you got to try to pull to get there. It's costing a lot of money. So,
thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yes, sir. The exact location of the landfill would be, you said Highway 90?
It's a dense, the property's owned by a gentleman named Densky. They've owned it, I guess, since the 80s, late 80s. And it's near White Oak, but it's about 3 miles from anybody or anything. There's an old mine there.
More.
Okay, coming up from Morley.
Come up more, yes.
Okay, all right.
And it is down in I call it down in the holler, but they call it a bowl. Yeah, so
It's a hot
that's what I call it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be getting back in touch.
Okay, thanks.
Ralph Davis.
Hey there, guys. Nice to see you again. Business deal. I'm here about, well, first I'd like to speak about the landfill he's talking about. I wrote down here 2 things to talk about. This is at Morley. It's right by a river that runs into the Clear Fork River, runs in through the Cumberland River, and runs into the Ohio. It's right there in the hub. But I would like to ask this gentleman, has he filed for a permit for this property?
If he wishes to answer.
Have you filed for a permit for this property?
I have to go through local approval before I go to the next step.
But you have to ask for a permit, and then they'll send you back.
Get local approval to go to the next step. There's
Okay.
probably about 20 steps before.
Do you have an aerial view and a drawing by architect on where all your buildings is going to be, how you're going to do your landfill, You have to have all of this in writing, on paper, present to these people and the community before you can go to this, to get a permit. Did you know that?
Right.
Or have you done a drawing and had your architects get this plan?
We have not, because the first step is to get through local.
Okay, your first plan is to be up to, will you have it ready when they set a meeting for you?
We can have a topographical map available when there's a meeting.
All right, do you know how much it will cost you per acre to bond this piece of property?
I don't know the exact figure, but I'm pretty.
Okay, the state of Tennessee told me it will cost you $500,000 per acre to bond a landfill.
I think that's about the estimated cost to
Right.
prepare.
You prepared to pay that?
Yep.
Okay, all right. All right. Is there gonna be hazardous material in this?
No,
There's gonna be household garbage or
it's
just
gonna be household.
only?
No fly ash, none of that stuff.
That'd be in writing?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Now about the tar grinding.
Thank you for asking.
Appreciate it. Questions? Now about the tar grinding, y'all want to sell 33 acres to the company in Oswego. Can anybody tell me the background and who this company is? And are they in business now?
A little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Traction tires, they are in business now. They own some land over by the airport, that they just bought recently. It's made up of, 4 people. One's an attorney, another guy's an investor, and I'm not sure what the other 2 individuals currently do. My understanding is the tire grinding will be shipped off, out of the county. I know they've got a contract with a company in Kentucky for one, but as far as the others, that's all, that's about as much as I know.
Are they grinding tars now and doing it now, would you say?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, since you said that, if I may, I want to pass out some information and pictures of what, I don't know how long they've been in business, but he stated they're in business. I want you to look at these pictures, what a mess it is, these facilities right now. So if they're going to do that here, what are they going to do when they get 30 some acres? Mr. Joe, can you hand this to her, please? These pictures would indicate that if they're planning on to do a job right, and support and take care of the community, they would have done cleaned this up. It would have done been cleaned up. But another thing is, I want y'all to know, y'all heard it, that they're in business now. It's against the law, and I got the evidence here, to recycle tires without 2 permits from the state of Tennessee. Against the law. TDEC, I've got it in writing, got emails from them, that you first have to do is like I told this gentleman right here, they have to have an aerial shot of the property, drawings of the, not only, they cannot store tires on the ground. They have to be, they recommend to be in an enclosed facility where the water and the sun cannot touch these tires. These tires have to be documented and not left on the site no more than 1 year. They said they want these 30-some acres for storage. Now, folks, I'm gonna tell you something. If you need 33 acres to store tires, you're not selling. You're not driving from 500,000 to 700,000 tires on 1 acre. Now, folks, that's over 15 million tires. I'm not saying we're going to do it, but I'm saying they said they wanted for storage. Storage. We don't need to store them. I'm not against them grinding the tires. I'm 100% for it. When I was sitting here with you guys, we fit this for 8 years. This would be a good thing, but the thing I need y'all to do is get it in writing. They have to do a proposal to you guys on how they're going to store it, how they're going to grind it, where they're going to go, everything about it. And you all have to approve it. I'm hoping that one of you guys will withdraw the sale of this property until it is always proven. State of Tennessee says that they should apply for a permit and to make sure this property would be permitted to be bonded and to be permitted. It's in a flood zone. And that right there said, well, just about will kill the sale. It's in a flood zone. I live there. 5 times a year, my wife has to carry me through the water to get me to the store. It floods. You know what? If we know you got cars laying out, getting wet, rained on, they fill up. They siren. Mosquitoes. Millions of mosquitoes will kill in there. Not only diseases, but here's the other thing. Rain today, and it rained for a month. That water dries up, sinks down, and that's when it really gets nasty and dirty. When it rains again, they fill up and they run out in the ground. Do you all know that this property has 2 Jellicoe wells on it? If you all sell them that property, does Jellicoe have the rights to those wells anymore? You all know that?
Yes.
Pardon?
We gave Jellicoe those wells.
I
2 months ago.
Okay.
The commission gave those to the Jellicoe Utilities Fund. We haven't got the survey back or anything.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I've heard that. And Jellicoe has not moved yet to protect those wells. All right, here's the other thing about this. We have a creek that called Elk Valley Creek, runs from Elk Valley through Newcomb. The only thing that separates that creek from this land is the railroad track. There's a pond on that lake, probably about 40 acres, I fish in. When it floods, it runs over into that pond, runs over into Clear Fork River. A mile and a half later, it goes through the Indian Mountain State Park, where the city of Jellicoe pumps an average of 600,000 gallons of water a day out of that pond. So you let that cars lay up there and fill up and run over into the creek, it's going to run into our drinking water. That water leaves Jellicoe, it goes north to the Clear Fork River, from the Clear Fork River to the Cumberland River, and from there to the Ohio River. Now, folks, remember 2019, what happened? A little ounce of something other in a bottle was mishandled, and it paralyzed the world. It killed millions of people. What I'm asking you all is, us check and make sure that what you all are going to let happen, or not let happen, takes care of these people that you're not and lives up to them. It's not, I'm all for it. I would like to read, if y'all allow me, yes, please.
Does anyone have a question for Mr. Davis? The tire short thing.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Russell.
one of the things I think the commission did is actually put it in the hands of the ID people. Is that correct? That's what we did. So, would it be the best to retract it until we get all these questions answered from IDB and set the standards in place? Because I actually, while we was in the conference, I talked to representative from CTAS, and I know sometimes, Ralph, you know how that goes, but she's real informed and she takes care of the TDEC stuff and educates. And we talked about the tires. Stuff I didn't know. Found out last week, and Ralph's got to get here tonight. Would that be the best suited? I don't think nobody on this commission wants to do any harm to anybody. So most of us probably sat here, got here early, the planning commission. And Campbell County has an opportunity for 600 lots. And the planning commission held their feet to the fire to make sure that everybody's protected, they're safe and well-being. If that's fine with you all, I mean, I'm sure we could sit down with IDB, but to be on the safe side, they've not made no business decisions IDB has.
We have not made anything in writing yet. I did discuss this with Jay and the other people on IDB, and they would negotiate like we do when we sold the 8 acres, 50F building, they would negotiate the price based on market price, nobody get nothing for free. Everybody's gonna pay the way, but they would negotiate the price and the restrictions of the deed. And they would probably, as they told me, probably something like a curable industrial park at 141, there would be a buffer zone where houses were like we did Jacksboro. All those things would be addressed by then, but maybe we need to tell them what to address, that'd be fine.
Well,
And we don't know if some persons go through, but
and I feel that the county commission, we don't know that there's a
This
problem.
way, you look at it and go to.
There's a problem with the tires in Campbell County. They have been for years.
it is.
And I honestly, I believe that it's not just here, I believe it's in Sevier County, Knox County, they just hit a lot better. And I don't want to get, IDB does a good job, but since it's been brought back to our table, I think we were, and I'll put that on the agenda for next Monday night to retract that, and let it come back before the commission, and go for sanitation committee and set regulations with C-TASC and T-DASC before we hand it off to IDB, to make sure it's done right. I mean, I'm sure their business, I know one of the facilities that you're talking about is in my district, in Wayne's district, and it is being, I don't know what's going on. But I don't know if they're trying to move them out or what's going on. And the lady did tell me from C-TASC, they gotta be kept inside. They're kept, I still have a problem with that. Because if you got a building like Loving, is it Loving Homes? Out on Memorial Drive?
I'm on
It used to be Loving Homes, they used to make manufactured trailers there. I don't know how many tires is in there. Have no idea. But it would be a disaster if it caught on fire. And I'd ask that question. There was no regulatory authority on that, they're kept inside. I'd actually talked to some commissioners across the state last week about trying to push for regulatory authority on tires. You probably don't know this, but most tires we get in Campbell County comes from up north. And we're not going into no big discussion, I don't want to throw names, but if I can, I think if it was feel that way, we'll pull it back, from IDB, and set the standard. It may slow them down a few months, and we'll make it right. How's that? Scott, you second that?
I see that, I think we need to ask CPAC to come here and answer any questions that anyone may have, kind of right here where, they have a meeting.
We would probably need to bring T-DAC in.
We have to eat it.
I think what the big problem is they're storing so many tires. And we such a pile of tires that they're.
On the storing thing, I talked to these people once, maybe twice. We in touch with state people, talked to Gary Human, those people about what they could and couldn't do. We tried to follow the directions that we usually do. They did not mention storage to me. So I don't know about that. I mean, what they told us is they needed really the building that's not ours. In order to grind them or to chip them, whatever they call them. And they got $1 million machine to chip them with. I mean, this is a big investment, but
Something's got to be done in Campbell County.
we got to get rid of tires some way, somehow. But it is what it is.
Well, we can't do nothing about
Put it in there.
We just need to kind of set the parameters, back up, take a step back and set the parameters. I mean, I think myself, I think it is needed. I'm not Ralph, I wouldn't want 30 acres next to me of storage tires outside by no means, but that wasn't told to us. We took it, and I have checked. The Kentucky Power is going to generate electricity from these tires, and I hope it works. Because all they're doing now is going to the landfill.
Well, this is an aerial view for that property, and all that's in red, that's the property that they're wanting, and it's all in the flood zone. But the building we're talking about, I sent pictures.
Perhaps you don't mind just a second.
Okay.
Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Well, now, you brought up a couple of wells that was on the property. If the county gave the city those wells, don't you think in terms of things with the county that the city ought to be in conjunction with this might be, Mr. Copeland's, question. What happens in them wells about the city trying to protect that water just as much as the county is?
If the city of Jellicoe has some rights in the property, then they need to be participating in the decisions that are made in that regard. You would need to give notice to the city of Jellicoe where they would have an opportunity to be heard and participate. Probably those discussions would be held directly with them there in Jellicoe, and not here before this body.
Can I say something, man?
Yes, sir.
If he come in and said we're gonna store 30 extra tires, I wouldn't talk to him. I never heard about storing.
Well, I want to read
But
you something, go ahead.
another thing, I don't know, as far as the rail, county put a rail in there, is that right? Through the grant or something. That rail, that spur, been there for, never been used. Never been used. So that's the thing that drew them to this property, is use that rail because of the high cost transportation to Kentucky on the power side of it. And I don't know, the rail's open, the line's closed right now there. The rail line, it may open.
Well,
But that, this is kind of futuristic in a way. I don't think, this is not something I think is going to develop. I think you can go back and look, but I don't think it's going to develop over time.
what are the estimates for the property per acre? What's the price that is put on this property?
It'll be left up to IDB. It'll be left up to IDB once we handed it off. And they usually go by fair market value, is what they did in the past.
That's something you all should know before you let them have it. Ball market price. I had a understanding that the 141, that property was going for $30,000 an acre. Do they have natural gas up there? Yes. They have water and sewer? Do they have railroad spur? Okay. My property in Jellicoe is worth 130. Now, I always say, talk is cheap. That's the reason I'm here. I've already heard that moving it by rail is going to cost too much, so they're going to truck it out. Going to start out with 8 loads a day. It takes 2,100 cars to load one tractor and trailer that'll haul 22 ton. That's what they're allowed on the highway. They're going to run 8 loads a day. So you're looking at a little over 16,000 cars a day they're going to have. And so they're hoping to get the 16 trucks a day. So they're going to end up needing 700 and some thousand cars a month to stay in business. At the end of the year, they need 4.4 million cars a year to stay in business. In the state of Tennessee, maybe a little more than that. You know how many cars are put in the landfill just in the state of Tennessee? 6.1 million cars a year, that's it. That's a lot. They need that much for 4 months, I'm sorry. So they need enough cars going to the landfill in the state of Tennessee to keep them busy. Kentucky has 4.4 million. They can get every car from Tennessee and Kentucky, and they can't stay in business all year. My problem, and our problem with everybody I even talk to is, why do they want the 33 acres? You figure it up mathematically, 4 acres is all they would need, and they have more land than they need to operate this business. Folks, we don't need to put all our eggs in one basket. I'm for getting rid of the tars, but I'm against them getting all this land in one person. And lease it to them on a 5-year plan. That's what they said they had. If you meet your quota and do what you said in 5 years, all right, we'll sell it to you. Think about it. Don't tie folks' hands with promises. Do y'all remember when we were here, and Rusty, I don't want you to say that. We brought up to do a electrical grid in a certain part of the county. We was promised 240 jobs, folks. 240 jobs. After 2.5 years, one of the commissioners, that's the city mayor. Mr. Mayor, it's been a year and a half past when you said you were going to give us 240 jobs. Where are they? Does anybody want to tell me what the mayor said?
You told me to be quiet.
Did you get that in writing? That means you can't believe me. If it ain't in writing, it ain't a contract. But I would have said that to say we cannot take people's word when it comes to a dollar. And our safety. But I want to read this. I know it took up more time.
Well, hey, does anyone else have a question for Mr. Davis?
I'd like to hear one.
Okay, afterwards, okay.
Thanks.
Finish this up and.
All right, I'm gonna read Charlotte Underwood. Who is that? Okay. Now, this is her newsletter, 7th month and 15th time, that was spoken by certain people. I'm not to read. Jacksboro, Tennessee, WLF, County Commissioners meeting, evening, and the workshop discussion. It could be easier to sell to a company with interest in it. All right, but here's that. We have a company that would like to purchase the 3 lots and the 3 lots, land lots on it, and would like to move it over to the Industrial Development Board. That's Temple, Colorado. So the county does not need to have any option, said County Commissioner Jack Lynch. I understand that. That just makes it silly. But they don't give, if someone else wants to buy this land, that knocks them out of it. It needs to be advertised that you're going to do that. And if no one applies, want to buy the land, then that's a good thing to do. The property is next to the railroad spur in Oswego on the north side of Campbell County, and the company would use the railroad spur. That's what they told you to start with. We got witnesses, they said they're going to truck it now. So they come in here with one story, and when you let them have it, then it's going to be enough. And y'all know once they get their hands on this property, and it's totally theirs, you've got no more control over it. Yuns has jumped in the water without your eyesight. Commissioner Beverly Hall asked about the business and what it did. Okay, I asked that question. Did they tell you that? What they done? Where it's from? We still don't know much, except what Mr. Barrett told us a while ago. And he also said that it's his understanding. Now, he didn't say he knew it for a fact. Don't want nobody to misunderstand, misquote what he said. He said his understanding, is that right? That he's been told that they're in business now. And there's another, I won't read it, but I'll give you his copies. That it's against the law to grind and recycle tires in the state of Tennessee without 2 permits. And you're going to get the letter, Nicholas Spy, he's coaching. He said, give this to all the commissioners and the mayor. You don't believe what I'm saying, you call him.
He did?
Yes. And then there's another one when I talked to him about this land. He said a proper procedure is to make sure that the property could be permitted before you get by. How many in here has heard about people, and one guy it happened to bought a piece of land, went to get it for a septic system. He wasn't impressed. He paid $40,000 for a piece of property. He couldn't do nothing with it. So doesn't that make good sense to make sure that this land could be used for what you want it for before you go by and spend, I don't know, hopefully y'all get $300,000 to $400,000 out of this property. But I hope y'all don't sell it. Lease it to them. One time you sell an acre. Let them have that. We need to get rid of the tires. But it gets worse. Vice Mayor, and I don't know who he is, Randy Brown, he might be sitting behind me, that's okay, spoke about the company Trinex Materials, which is already in operation. I'm looking for it. Is that you? Okay. Already in operation. There you go again. Break it along. And Oswego, and I live right in front of it. I can see it. Sir, there ain't nobody been up there. They ain't nothing up there but a bunch of junk that the other company left there.
That was not what I said. They're in operation and we're following. Interesting.
I'm reading what come off the news.
That was misquoted.
Okay. He said you misunderstood.
With all due respect.
Okay.
Okay, let's.
All right, but anyhow,
Look back in the shut, go ahead.
I've got other stuff that I need to give y'all. I'll go over it all. I appreciate all your time. I used to be sitting up there and I feel more impatient being over here than I did over there. Sometimes I was pretty rough on people, but you know what? I do it again. We need to make sure it's right. And God is my witness. We need to get rid of the tires. But let's make sure it's going to be done right. And one more thing the state of Tennessee is going to tell you. Y'all have to have someone to guard it and watch it. You know who it's supposed to be? Glenn's Bundy. He's a litter control guy, and it says that he should be in charge to make sure that these facilities monthly are being done right, and if they're not, let's stop it. I just want y'all to know that that's part of it. All right.
I just want to say real quick, when I was saying that they were, I understand they're a business, as far as the grinding part, I don't know. But as far as a business, yes.
Okay. All right.
The grinding part, I don't know.
You got some information to give us, hand out to us?
When the meeting's over, I'll get it, I got to sort it out.
Okay. Any other questions? Guys, every time you ask him a question, he gets 3 minutes.
Anybody want to ask? But everything I've said and I've got is, I can prove in writing from the state of Tennessee. This ain't Ralph talking, Ralph's talking. The only part Ralph's saying is, don't do it without it being done properly. That's all I'm asking. And safely for the community, and 100% no on the melt it down for oil. It stinks up. If you can smell it, folks, it gets in your system. And it will, according to T-Dot, it could cost millions of dollars just to set up to melt this oil down. Kentucky has a facility, they're talking about sending it to them. All they gotta do is grind it up and send it to them, let them just put it in the furnace. There's 5 places, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Ohio, and 2 in Michigan. They only does this. So send it out and let them melt it. Don't let them melt it here in Campbell County.
Thank you. Zach?
I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I do have to ask a question because
Speak up so I can hear you.
I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but I am gonna ask this, because I wondered it 8 years ago, and or 7 years ago, and I still wonder it now. How does Jackie put up with you?
Don't answer that.
Thank you, and like I said, Russ got it on the agenda for next
Appreciate it,
time.
guys. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Aaron? Come on up here, come up here and say what. You want to say? Yeah, please. Sit.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
they need to clean it up. They've been fine.
Do we have anyone here representing the Democratic Party? Go ahead. Anyone here representing the Democratic Party? That's correct. Aaron? Aaron, thank you for coming, we appreciate it and everything. Like I said, we just got questions. And can you explain to us how we got to this point right here with the primaries and everything?
First, thanks for the invitation. I'm glad to be here. I want you to know that I feel for you, I sympathize with you. I understand some of your concerns. It's unfortunate that the counterpart couldn't be here and they chose not to. So I'll take that time I'll invite you all to join the Republican primary when we had it here in a few months. How we got here was not our intention. It was never discussed. This formation of this new Democratic Party in Campbell County, some folks that we never come to know, and that's another one, there's some of them. That's their right and their prerogative to do. As a laid out in election law, they have the right, as well as we do, to call for the primary in that specific, whatever party it is. Early August, they called for the primary. Puts us in a position, and the deadline was August 25th, I believe. So we had to make a quick decision. They can have it on their own. The Democratic Party called for one, had it on their own, and they got the rest. As a party, it has nothing to do with me personally, what my feelings are. But as a party, what we stand for, and what we believe in, and what our purpose is, how can we, as a Republican Party here, not put forth that platform of giving our primary voters do. If this primary takes place without us, which it can, if they go to the poll to vote and they ask for a Republican ballot in the primary, and they say, no, we don't have one, we only got this one, it's not serving us at all. That's how we got here. In our meeting, we decided that, yes, we'll have one, but if the other side withdraws their request, we do so as well. And then all this other information started filtering in, people started getting educated, the party, the legislature. In April, the legislature passed a law. You know, they're encouraging primaries, encouraging that kind of thing. They set aside $8 million in their budget to reimburse counties like ours for the cost of the primary election. I think Mallory said ours was between $50,000 and $60,000, and I know that's a big contention, and we're talking more for somebody. That money will be reimbursed in Campbell County. It has no financial impact on the county's budget.
Can I ask one question? We've been told this, you might even clear this up for us.
I'll try.
We've been told that this is one-time monies, that, you know, once the money's gone, then, hey, the next primary, the county will have to pay for it. Is that, I mean, can you give us some insight on that?
That's about 50-50, and I'll tell you why. This one's paid for, reimbursed, right?
Okay.
That law for this year, yes, it was one-time monies unless the legislature acts again. Now, there's talks that they would like it again, but next election is the presidential election. The earliest time possible for Campbell County to be on the hook, if that is even an option then, unless the legislature does not act, the 23rd.
So, we don't know, is what you're saying,
We
correct?
don't know past 23rd.
Okay. If the county would be on the hook for it. Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
it's
you.
all right. I'll answer whatever I can. I don't know where I left off, but I know some of you have some concerns or need some explanations. I'm not here to, whatever.
Like I said, we appreciate you being here, and thank you for coming. You got a question?
Where's federal employees stand in this?
That, there's the Hatch Act, the Little Hatch Act, and all that stuff. That will be something that you all have to research, something now that can ask on those kind of partial election laws that deal with people and
the different rules for different people, and talk to people about it. I think that's something you need to get advice from, and get a clear picture of the hatch act, or no hatch act.
The reason, Dwayne, you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
The reason why Dwayne was asking that question, we have a city county commissioner, Wayne Kitts, who serves as a postmaster or post worker in La Paz. And it's been our understanding is that he will be denied the opportunity to participate in the election simply because he works for the federal government.
If you run as a partisan representative in your party.
No, we were told he ran as an independent.
What's the difference between that now and that then? That don't make sense. He's an independent now, technically on the ballot. Why would, I'm just asking, what would the difference be? Now, I know there have been some people in those sticky situations by declaring one way or the other from the two main parties, but technically now he's an independent as well. So that's something that, we might have to get some legal advice.
Mallory, could you help us with that?
Yeah, the Hatch Act, it does not allow a bipartisan election, will not allow U.S. federal employees, including U.S. Postal Service workers, to run. Now, the question is will the August election be labeled as a bipartisan for the federal employer or not? That's an email question that I have in at this moment.
Mr. Chairman. Okay, my question and concern is, and for starters, I don't like the timing. I wish if we were going to have primary elections that we would have had this conversation a year or two ago, at least before the school calendar came out and we got into our budget. That's just personal preference. I know, but I know how we got here, and I understand
I
that.
totally agree with you. When I was asked to do this, I had no intention to be sitting here and prove this regulation, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know it's caused somebody concern and aggravation, I've talked to several of you. It is what it is, and when you're pushed to that point where you gotta make that decision, as the party, you have to go with what you stand for and what the purpose of your group is. But I agree, and I understand your point.
And then just, number two with that, part that really bothers me personally, I've heard it said by a lot of people from both parties how important that it is for young people to be involved. 2018, I picked up my petition on February 20th, my 18th birthday. Had we had primaries in 2018, I wouldn't have been able to run at all because of the way the qualifying deadline would have been. So that, and again, that's just because of the way the law is, but that just, I don't know, that just bothers me to think about what it would have been like 8 years ago, because I had planned to run for about 2 or 3 years prior to that. So that bothers me, and there's not really a workaround. And so that's part of why I'm concerned. And then just two on that, I'm not afraid to say, if you go look at my voting record,
I know where you stand. I understand where you're coming from.
and then two with that, a third of the commission's under the age of 40. And there is no active group of young Republicans.
Well,
And I'm not trying to talk partisan politics.
so I think there will be.
But-
Some time.
But two, going on that matter, I did just want to say to that reference, all while that's going on, Campbell County High School just recently started a chapter that's affiliated with Turning Point USA, all of which has been criticized by the opposing side. And I think that that's side that we don't want to encourage young participation, and that just bothers me. That I'm afraid when the timing constraints coupled with how that would have impacted me 8 years ago, I just worry that it's going to discourage young participation instead of encourage it.
I understand the point. I don't know either way whether that opinion's right or wrong.
And then,
Where we're at, why.
and then one other question you may not have the answer to. There's been some talk at the state level about doing a constitutional amendment to try to change the county official start date to December 1 to make it to where we would be elected in the November election, and then your primary election would be held in August like it currently is. Is that still?
I've heard that, I don't know how many feet that's gonna really hold up, but I would say that be, if it's possible, if it's on the table, it's not gonna be this go around, but I've heard that.
Because that would, I mean, in the end, I think if you want to have primaries, which me, I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another. I think if you're going to have it, I think that would certainly alleviate some of the cost concerns that's been.
I agree. I think that's the discussion somebody's having somewhere, and when it gets to where it's got legs, I'd say make it way for all of us, to be educated about it.
Aaron, this is my opinion. Do you not think that if, if we'd have known about this sooner, I know it's, that it be placed on the ballot as a referendum, asking the taxpayers of Campbell County if they would like to have a primary or not?
Well, I think, that's a good thought, I'm sure.
I mean,
But the way the election law is set up, it puts the power in the party's hands, and they filter it down to whoever. That's all you can say about it. That's a good concept. Election law will let it work that way.
huh, so I didn't know that.
I know you can't speak for the other side, but, what I've read is, you run as Republican, Democrat, if you're, I'm assuming on the commission side, is it gonna be the top 3 out of each?
Top 3 out.
Okay. That party will back their representatives.
Yes.
At what capacity are you talking about backing that representative?
Just as you would vote for office. Now, I know this is going to be aggravating for some of you, or all of you, or whoever. We're talking about double the work, double the campaigning, double the signs, double the advertising, but yet lay it on good times and everybody else is going to love it, because you're going to spend twice. Hopefully, you make it a little better. But you're going to spend, I get it. I'm really sympathize with you, but just like anybody else would, you'll advertise, you'll spend money, and you'll promote, just in a different way. So that's, I don't think the party should sit around and let somebody be strung out on their own. They have the finances and the resources to do that kind of thing.
Anything else? Russ?
I missed something, Aaron, with the restroom. Who'd you say brought it to y'all? Was it state level?
Well, no, it was the
parties?
Democratic Party, the new one that Campbell County has.
Pardon?
The new Democratic Party.
So they wanted to actually push for this?
They presented their request for their primary first. And that's what us in the position, we had to make a decision. To have our.
So they could go ahead and have their primary?
Yes.
But they didn't have it. And you're over 40, I'm sure. I'm clicking 60. I remember.
Let's say they had that primary tomorrow, and we had requested hours, and most people would go to vote tomorrow, and they said, I want a Republican ballot, just like 85.
I understand.
They look.
It's kind of a mutual thing. One has one, the other needs to have one. But I think it was 30 years ago, wasn't it, Lonnie, we used to have primaries? And I remember my dad had custody, and said it was because of what happened. And I'm sure he was all happy for that. And that's one of the things, as soon as it came out, people was asking me, is it, a good thing, bad thing? I don't know. I was young then, I was 28, I believe, when all this vice primary, wasn't in politics a whole lot, didn't know a whole lot about anything. But I said, well, if we have a primary, we'll have more of the signs. And Campbell County don't like the signs. Politicians like them. But last week, we was in our conference last week, and I had an opportunity
on some of the boards I sat on across the state commission. And it's been kind of pushed through by the higher end in Nashville, like the executive committee.
Over the years, it's gradually.
And they told me that theirs had started, different counties had started years prior. I think it started about 6 years ago. They said one of the worst things they ever seen. Because the more people come in and vote, what happens, you have the primary, people actually think they're voting, and not a lot of education to it, and they don't think they got to go back in office to vote. So the numbers goes down, you know. So we, the commission, we don't deal with a lot of, you know that, a lot of higher end stuff that the state and the federal deals with. We deal with budgets and landfills and car places and everything else. I just wonder what the real need for it is it going to throw off our vote in August, and people are going to get frustrated? And that's what I've heard last week from other counties. They got so frustrated of having a primary. And what did the good come out of it? Because you got, say, 3 it represents from the Republican Party, 3 from the Democrat side, and you got 6 that runs independent because you don't have a primary. So you're full of people, so the percentage numbers, you know, everybody's talking about it needs to be a 51%. I understand that.
Well,
In a perfect world, but it's not a perfect world because you're going to have all these people running, and you're not going to end up with and I'm talking on commissioner side, I say 3. I'm sorry. If you don't marriage ratio, you'd have 1, 1, and possibly 5. So your percentage levels would change too. And I guess some counties does run, is that right?
I think there were some, there's a couple.
They're under a charter
There's a
form of
couple
government.
governments that don't impact, but
And I honestly think, in my personal opinion, at the end of the day, you know, I've been here 20 years as a commissioner, and I've tried to look, and there's commissioners around the table that this is probably the best commission I've sat on, pardon me. But people knows the slogan, and they know what we stand for and what we back, you know. And I hope they hold on to that, you know, and they elect the right person. Because I'm not saying it's bad, but you know, it's because you got an R or a D or an I at the end of your name, don't make you no better than anybody else. You know, I hope I've laid a track record. You know, my wife hates, she absolutely hates politics. I must like it pretty good. I like I get my tail chewed a lot from different things that I've done, but also just trying to make Campbell a little bit better. And that's not a campaign slogan. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint at some point in time, and knowing, and I keep up with the state finances. Don't want to get into another story, but the voucher program is going to, my opinion, it's going to destroy the financial part of the state of Tennessee if it keeps on plugging. Well, guess what's going to happen? All this money that they're throwing out here and there, Bruce was here tonight for a grant, that's going to go away because they've got to fund education. That's one of the #1 priorities in the state of Tennessee. And I'm not on that level. And if I was on that level, I'd take a side and I'd run. And I've thought about it. I have honestly thought about it. When I'm clicking 60, I think my wife would divorce me if I ever picked up a petition to run for a state office. But anyway.
you know, I know it's gonna take some getting used to. It's got to. Yeah, I was 16 when we had the last. In 1994, my dad ran in the primary. Yeah, I mean, that's just what happened. Here's a snapshot of what I can tell you. 73 counties practiced it before us. 77%. Out of some of those specific offices, let's take the district attorneys, for example. There's 32 across the state. 26 of them are Republican, 2 Democrats, 4 independent. 92% are partisan Republican and Democrat. 92% are Republican. Sheriffs across the state. 57 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 17 of 35 independents are ones that previously didn't have a primary, but most of them will come out. Like, for example, Scott County, Morgan County, both of those interests. I don't think work over in there and don't go over there, but I know Scott and Morgan, both their sheriffs are running on the Republican ticket. There is a potential for the election to be over in the primary, period. There is that potential. It happened in Knox County last time. Some races, some county races are over in the primary. One of the benefits of these primaries, Mayor, if you got 6 people running in the mayor's race, then the winner wins by 23% of the vote. That ain't fair.
They still go back.
It might be over in the primary. But it gives somebody a different advantage. But why did, when you said it's still gonna happen, is that because
People run independent. I think that's what's going to take place.
85% of the voters in the last presidential election in Campbell County voted Republican? You can't argue with those numbers. There's a benefit of the fact that 85% of the people here that are voting now are of that persuasion. I'm not no radical that's going to twist your arm off or get mad at you either way. I love you regardless of who you are and what you do. I don't care what color your skin is or where you're sleeping or who you're sleeping with. I love you, but it don't matter. Just don't mess with me either. You know what I'm saying? County mayors, 58 Republican county mayors, 5 Democrats, 30 independents, 17 of those didn't have a primary. Those numbers and those trends line up with the values of this place. You can't deny it, you can't lie about it, you can't, 43 county commissions across the state, or a majority of them are controlled by Republican candidates. Now, as everybody's called the primary now, some counties don't have a party. The state chairman called it a party in their county. So we're up to 90 and 95 according to their numbers for primary.
How many were not in the primary?
There was 73 were out of the 95. But a couple of those don't count because they're metro governments type thing. Metro Nashville, some of those kind of. Some of those are different. But 73 had it. 73 out of the 95.
That's 22. So, and take the metro governments out, you're probably about 15, 16, somewhere there. That do not have.
17 actually.
17 that do not have primaries. Is there a movement on in those 17 counties to do the same thing?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, I've had one county mayor call and talk to me.
well, the number's jumping from 73 to 90. If that makes sense.
So there's a movement among the counties to go to this.
It's been actually going for about 6 years.
It's good and strong.
It's not, you go to Anderson County, it's a normal thing to them. Russell Barker, he runs the Republican primary. Terry Franks runs the Republican primary. They've been in office and elected multiple times.
Let's go back to the question I asked you earlier about allowing the citizens of Campbell County to vote whether they wanted a primary or not. You said they couldn't do it.
I believe the election law, I don't know for sure. Only thing I can tell you is what's allowable right now and how we handle that.
Okay.
And I think it's one of those party election control things but that's really the decider when you have the primary. They're able to decide either way. You're giving them another mechanism to practice democracy, or choose their values, or choose their candidates who are guided enough to declare where they stand and what they believe in or what their values are. That's where the people get to make their decision. Usurping their election right or their, choices is where I think it's a road we don't want to go down. whether you pick a party or not, or you run independent, taking away that process that's available to the board. And I know all of you, and I don't believe that's the road you truly want to go down.
Give everybody an opportunity and everything. Always have. I've been doing this for 28 years. You know, I feel like that I represent my district, you know, and I try to do the best job I can do. Any other questions from commissioners? I notice we have some elected officials here. Sure, would you like to say anything?
Well, as I've told Aaron and different ones, we have to be able to agree to disagree on certain subjects, and as Aaron already stated, I love y'all. I think in a small community such as Campbell County, it's not as important to declare as a Republican or a Democrat or independent. I think we pretty much know what each other stands for, what our values are, what we're for, what we're against. And yeah, I mentioned once before, I don't care whether someone is a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care if they are black or white. I don't care if they're male or female. The law is the same for everyone. And that's one of the things that I don't think that partisan politics should be in a law enforcement office such as the sheriff's office. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how everything will end up working out. I don't know whether in 2028, federal government funds 100% of that because it is a presidential election, which the county's on the hook for it. I don't know. But personally, I don't feel like the Campbell County needs a primary for us to know what someone's core values are and what they stand for. I think if any of you all could call me, or any of you all, or I could call any of you all, we could sit down, have a cup of coffee or a sandwich or something, and in a very short period of time, we would know what it is stood for. They're right. This is a red county. They need no denying that. That's what bothered me when we allowed the Democrats, the small percentage, to force us to have a primary. It's like the tail's wagging the dog. I've been open about it. I'm not going to do anything. I don't support primaries. But if that's what happens, then we in Campbell County will be dealing with primaries. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Brandon, you have anything to say, sir?
You really want me to talk?
Sure.
Well, I've got my opinion of it. It really doesn't matter though in my office. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, ABCD, whatever. Your property value is one thing, that's it. Who owns it, it's just flat. So, personally, do I support or oppose? I'm just game for whatever, honestly. If it's the will that the primary comes, I'll declare. Everybody knows me, they know what I stand for, they know which way I lean. It doesn't matter to me, I don't know the R, the D, the woman who'll be the R after I sign my name, so it really doesn't matter to me.
Thank you, sir. Brittany, you have anything to say?
No, I'm just taking it all in.
Yes, ma'am. Monty?
Well, I've been here 35 years. Okay?
You're the longest server.
People, they vote for me no matter how I stand as a Republican Democrat. If I run my office like it's supposed to, hope they continue voting for me. And I'm like you and Zach, I think it's a little early for the primary. It's not been discussed, it's been brought up on us. And I looked at it today, and if my figures is right, we've not had 14 primaries, since '96. I'm basing it right. If it's going to cost the county $60,000, of course, we'll hopefully get it back, but we've not got back the proposal. So it's cost the county about $500,000. Well, part of my job is to invest money for the county that's ours. And that's what I've been doing. been investing that money, all the other money. And I do a pretty good job at it. Last year, I made almost 1.8 million in interest on my investment for the county. And I don't care if it's 50,000, 60,000, it's part of it. That's money you ought to use for your senior citizens, schools, volunteer fire departments, whatever. Because this money is not in your budget. You just know this is the other side of it. So I'm gonna do my job, whether it's, we're gonna have a primary or not. I still think it's too early for it. And I'm gonna get out and work like I always do. And I think people, I don't know how most people feel about the primaries. It's probably not needed until a little longer from now. So early get it started. I don't care, I'm not branded. They run it, if they have it, I'm running. You can count on it. You know, it's just something to think about. It's just, you know, it's just real early for me.
Brad, can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
It's not got nothing to do with primary, really. Can we get a set designated area in each district for signs? And that way they ain't walking up all over the place. That's the main thing I always hear complaints of.
I know somebody that he knows that's about 3/4 responsible for that. They was good at it.
But we all know they're gonna be all over Campbell,
That's the biggest.
and in Kentucky.
I know 2 people that's 100% for primaries. Sandy and,
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Aaron, again, go ahead.
a snapshot today from WREF Development Hall. Take that seriously. There was over 2,000 people in their snapshot.
Can I make a comment on that?
Well, sure. This is your house.
I called Mr. Freeman and asked him about that, and you could vote as many times as you wanted to in that poll.
Well,
You could, for example, if I wanted to vote 200 times, I could vote 200 times.
did you?
No, I didn't. But I will say this, I'll say this, I understand the voters on WLAF. The young lady sitting in the back there, Volunteer Times, did a Facebook poll? And what was your?
Instead of doing a poll, I opened it up for comment. It's been a few weeks back when we did it. I ran the initial letter that each party put forth, the Democrats and, of course, the Republicans. The comment thread, it was kind of mixed in the beginning, but it went actually against it more so. Yes, toward the end. So.
People like options.
Monty?
I want to say something, I appreciate Aaron showing up.
Oh, listen, I
I've known this for years, and he's my friend. When it's over with, I'm like him. You know, he's still my friend, and I'm glad he showed up here tonight, explain this to us. It's a big help.
Hey, if he hadn't showed up, I'd call Wes.
Notre Dame's gonna make the playoffs.
You got that right. Thank you, Aaron. Hey, yeah. Guys, anyone else? Aaron, again, thank you for coming. And like I said, hey, nobody browbeat you or anything.
No,
And it's a good discussion, and I think we got some things to learn. So keep the Campbell do it.
They called, that's what we,
No, I think they're gonna win ahead of us.
We're not gonna have a referee that
Ready for the sign? Yeah. Yeah, what do you think?
I was making my announcement right now, we'll be Canada. I represent 40,000 greatest people in the state, maybe the United States. I'm proud of that. I represent them without pride and prejudice to anything. My office is open to every person that comes to the vote. But we'll have to sort this thing out. It's probably here, isn't it, Aaron?
Unfortunately,
I think it's here.
The point of the timeline is a very valid argument. And something I should be able to control. But we can't let it be blind. When we want to have it, it's going to cost the same amount of money, the same thing. We're going to have our own representation, that's the value of the whole mess.
Would anyone have any idea how many people actually sit in these meetings and voted to, have these primaries? I mean, did you guys do it with the entire Republican committee, or?
It was the majority of the Republican committee. I don't know about theirs. The idea is to invite people
Could I ask another question? How did it end in '96? I mean, do both parties have to agree? Say you do this 5 years and it doesn't work out.
Well, I don't know. The way it was back in the 94, 96, things were a little different back then. Different party was in control then. The shift started happening somewhere around 98, 96, 98, when things started going the other way. Is that right, Bill? Is that right? And I think some people just lost their will to the time of confusion, and people were afraid to put up and pick the party their persuasion back then, because there was a change happening around then. And Republican candidates were starting to elect this year.
Can I say this? If, 3 people from the Republican Party, here's the chairman, so went and said, hey, we're gonna have a primary this year. Can you guys, would that be legit to do that? Or do you need them? I just wanna know, how many people want involved.
There was an executive committee, there was probably 10 of us, 8 or 10 of us at the end. And, there was a state committee man and a state committee woman that had influence.
Okay.
And county parties got their own bylaws and their own rules, but they're still an extension of the Tennessee Republican Party.
Gotcha.
And everybody's got influence and say so. We make the final decision. We know here what.
See, I didn't realize that, thank you. So, on the Democratic side, we don't know how many.
No.
Same process, though.
Yes, simple process. I know them, you know, a lot of them, and some of them I don't know.
So you're looking at about probably 10 or so on that side, 12?
Probably about 10, 15.
Okay. Any other questions?
Wish everybody's luck, whether they qualify as a Republican or a Democrat or the 10-pin ticket. Wish everyone luck. Sheriff's got something.
Mike?
Melanie, do the parties have to request a primary each election cycle, or once it is requested, it's good to go from there
Yes,
on?
each election cycle, we request a written notice. So what we do is we write a notice, we do it every single election cycle. In the letter, it requests that the chairman plus one other member sign that letter, and it has to be a written request to our office by the qualifying deadline. So if in 2028, if they want to run a primary, then we have to have the same request turn into a written request.
But if a request is not turned in by
There's no
the
primary.
party, I think one of you all were asking that question, what if we go 5 years and we got one? Well, you have to do it every election cycle.
So they have
The
to
party
ask
has
for
to
every
request.
sign.
Yes.
No parties.
And can I say something
Or,
too?
well, one party could
Or
have,
could have said
and
that.
one couldn't, just the way this one was.
Gotcha.
You know, you don't want to send voters into the booth and they say, I want this ballot, and it's when you got one.
Gotcha.
They're gonna have a primary, if this one is, if you have this one, that's what you want to do. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
I understand. Valerie?
So in 2 years from, well, in 2028, we'll have another election. Yes, and what will happen is they have the option, because we have a presidential preference primary, they can add that county primary to that March election. So needless to say, that March PPP, what we call, is reimbursed by the state. So when he says 2030, it means that the 2030, we get reimbursement from the state like we would this year. So if they send a primary and they want it in May, they're more than happy to. And we have to run another election in May on top of March.
Since you give us the dates, qualify and everything,
Yes.
how everybody will know.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
What's the first day to pick up petitions?
Okay, first day to pick up petitions for all Democrat, Republican, or Independent. It is Monday, December 22nd, 2025. Qualifying deadline,
22nd.
Yeah.
That's my birthday.
Okay, I'm sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
it's okay. Qualifying deadline, Thursday, February 19th, 2026, 12 noon.
That's for everybody. And the primary is when?
Primary is May 5th, Tuesday, May 5th, 2026.
Yeah, 2 passes, I'll be put signs in.
This is for county offices.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think so.
There is a withdrawal.
Go ahead.
The deadline to rescind call for primary is Friday, November 21st, 2025. And the withdrawal deadline for a candidate picking up is Thursday, February 26th, 2026, 12 o'clock noon.
Dwayne Martin.
Yes, I just want to thank, Aaron, I want to call him Big Daddy, you know, I know since he's been born, but I just want to thank him for coming here and bringing everything good. And whether I get to run or not, that's not the issue, because it's where the Lord's plan is, and we put our trust in the Lord, and leave it to God. Very good.
Anybody else?
One question, I think you told us earlier. If the Democrats came in and said if we want to rescind this, you guys are rescinding yours?
Yes, we voted to do that, and we'll keep our word if that happens.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other questions? We stand adjourned.